Everybody, 10 cards rated day number, whatever day we're on. I'll hammer it down when I get my notebook. Actually, is my other notebook like right here? Yeah, hold on. Day number 31. We're on we're apparently on day number 31 right now. So it's been a full official month that we've been rating 10 cards. And as a matter of fact, I'll need this notebook because I put little tick marks in it every time we do a card. And that's how I know we've done 10. So, are you guys ready? I'm ready. By the way, we're live right now on twitch.tv. You could be here live with us as well. Did you think I wasn't going to release one of these today? I will release one every day for the rest of both of our lives. I can promise you that. Somehow, if I die first, there's still going to be like 300 of these that come out. That's what I promise you. Let's go ahead and get to it. What's the first card of Thursday? I was going to say Friday. What's the first card of Thursday? It's Windrake. Barry Windrake. Barry Drake has been one of my patrons since I could have a Patreon. And he's one of my most fervent supporters. I believe he's also a patron of the Professor. He just gets around in Magic circles. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, Barry Windrake, Barry Cracklin' Drake. And I've always got to attach a Drake's name to him. So Windrake always makes me think of Barry. I have never in my life seen this art for Windrake in my life. And I played in 9th edition and I guess I didn't internalize this art. Windrake is like a 2.4, like old, faithful, fine, and limited Windrake. Let's give it a 2.4, man. Yeah, classic. Super classic. Red Gatorade from your fridge. That's a good drink. Is it the best Gatorade? I think so. My wife would disagree. My wife thinks the white Gatorade is the best Gatorade. And that to me is it's in the top 3. It is. But red, man, every day after football practice, I would drink a red Gatorade. And for some reason, it was the most delicious drink I've ever had in my life. Every single day, Probably because I'm about to die. Football practice killed me. I'm pretty sure I did die during football practice. And this is some version of the afterlife I'm in right now. But anyway, moving on to card number 2. It's Torture. I like this card, man. It is from Homelands. So try not to laugh too hard. This is a single black mana for an aura that enchants a creature. For 2 mana, 1 in a black, you can put a -1/-1 counter on the creature that Torture enchants. So, interestingly, you can use this to wipe +1/+1 counters from persist creatures or whatever it is. Because I always get them mixed up. There's one where it comes back with a +1/+1. There's one where it comes back with a -1/-1. I get these mixed up constantly, but I'm pretty sure persist is +1/+1. So you can use this to wipe the counters off of that. It's an interesting way to use it. But you can also just very, very, very slowly kill an opponent's creature. So you'd really only ever play this as a 1-mana enchantment in an Enchantress deck, right? But it's still a card that I actually kind of have a fair amount of love for. And it might just be this art. It might be. Get on the chair. It looks like you're going on an Ashnod's altar or something. Very, very, very cool. No idea this was printed in Shadowmoor. And I did the most PTQs and stuff that I went to. Shadowmoor. So I missed this because no one played it during Shadowmoor. But I have to give Torture I don't know, a 3. Can I give it a 3? Is a 3 acceptable? You know what I mean? I don't think so. But we'll move on to Fortify here. Man, we got some bad stuff today, don't we? Originally printed in Time Spiral. This is 3 mana, 2 and a white for an insto. Choose 1. Creatures you control get +2/+0 till end of turn, or creatures you control get +0/+2 until end of turn. So I have to like this. I'm obligated to like this because it is officially a Burn Bright with upside. So I have to like it. It's in white, so it's still in pretty good, as far as aggro decks, usually you see this effect in red, at least the first half of it. And you see a bunch of different versions of it in red, but we get one for white, which is fine because it's kind of like the other aggro color, so you can leverage this. And interestingly, it's good against Brotherhood's End, Anger of the Gods, or any other damage based red, sweepers, especially, right? So that's neat. Also black based 3 mana sleepers that give all the creatures -2/-2 or whatever it is. This protects against that too. So actually kind of a neat card, but not, I won't go so far as to call it good, right? So if Torture is a 3, this is a 3.3. How about that? We'll throw a bunch of 3s at it. See where it goes, Yeah, it's both good for and against aggro. Yeah. If you line up some blocks and then you just hit this using the second mode, you could probably blow them out, honestly. Play it in Commander, see what happens. It doesn't seem that bad. But Barad-dûr, we've actually, I believe, already covered Baradur here on the channel. Not this art, though. Art is good. It's good art. Move on to Omniclown Colossus, which is an uncard. You know how we feel about those. Move on to Command. We've already done Command Tower, too. Uh-oh. It only took us a month to have one video where we have 2 cards we've already covered. Midnight Guard. We haven't done this yet. 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 2/3 human soldier. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, untap Midnight Guard. Ooh, okay. It's bad. I just want to throw that out there. It's pretty bad. You know, card isn't good, but it still made me go, ooh, because maybe if you throw an aura on it that lets it tap for something, or maybe you can Agatha's Soul Cauldron, right? You have an Agatha's Soul Cauldron, so if you give this a +1/+1 counter, it could have a ton of different activated abilities, right? And then you play creatures, it untaps. There's probably infinite combos with this, aren't there? Right? Where you put some kind of thing on it that lets it tap to do a thing, and then you do some sort of infinite creatures combo. You just untap it endlessly and sort of add it to the pot in terms of whatever it's tapping for. So I don't know. There's probably infinite combos with this. As a matter of fact, something I don't think I've ever done, Midnight Guard infinite combos. I don't think I've ever done this during one of these videos. All right, so combos using MTG Midnight Guard. 15 combos explained. Wow. MTG combo, Midnight Guard, Presence of Gone. So yeah, and this person needs help with Midnight Gone combos. So like, what the heck is this? Presence of Gone, 3 mana, enchanted creature has, tap, create a 1/1 green warrior elf creature token. Yeah, so that, yeah. You tap him, create a token, he untaps, create a token, he untaps, that's a 2-card infinite creature combo. So now we know about that. Okay, so this is like a 3.7. I think that's probably right. Probably a Splinter Twin, yeah. There's all kinds of fun stuff you could do with this ability. It might actually be like way more than a 3.7, but you know, outside of any wacky combos, like, the card just isn't good. It's not a 3.7 outside of the combos. You know. We'll move on. Oh, Rogue's Passage. What do you give Rogue's Passage? I feel like they just started printing this card. They did, just a few years ago. And they've already printed it like a billion times. It's a secret lair drop. It's $20. No, that doesn't look very good. It looks all right. It's not really what I expected. But yeah, Rogue's Passage is a land, taps for colorless, or you can pay 4, tap it, and a creature cannot be blocked this turn. I have a bad habit of throwing this into all of my commander decks whenever I build new commander decks, because like, come on, a guy can't be blocked. It's incredible. Did you read that line of text? I've always overrated this card, and I'm about to do the exact same thing right now. That said, I've already told chat that I get 1 lifeline, and I get to ask the chat this time around. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get I'm going to get instant results from chat. I don't have to wait for the comments section to tell me what they would rate this card. Chat, there are enough in here right now. There are enough of you in here right now to rate this card. Even if you're just lurking, even if you like never chat ever, let me know, what number are you assigning to this card? 0 out of 10, or 0 through 10. And you can use decimal places. You can also use multiple decimal places, which I haven't done in this video yet, but you can. All right, chat's coming in. Ikatapoy, thanks for your 26 months of subbage. I want to let you know about that. I appreciate it, and you need to know it. Lethal 36 says a 6. Chittering Hobo says 6.2. High All the Time Monkey, my actual real life cousin Jason, 7.2. You also, I guess the Randall family just overrates this card. I guess, well, you're Harris. We're completely different when you think about it. We do have the same blood, but we don't have Randall blood. Well, we do. But still, you don't have the same last name that I do. But 7.2, we apparently both like massively like this card. Komodo Lessons, a 4. Wow. Flame Bat, 5.5. Really a 5.55. I don't want to misrepresent. Big Bonk, an even 5. Dungeon Ron, 3.5. That's low. Pinch Hit Hero, 5.12. 6.2 for specific decks, says Shea Oak. Ikatapoy, you just subbed. You gave us 6. Ishkra, a 5. Aranak says 6. We're getting a lot of ratings here. Herbshock says 6 and a 1. Lil Sin Wolf just says Passage good, which is true. And Ain himself says 3.3, which I believe is the lowest. You win the auction. Well, actually, I guess you'd lose the auction. That is the lowest score. Kevin Sama, 5.9. We're still getting some ratings coming in. I mostly agree with what appears to be the majority of chat here. that the card is around a 6-ish. You know, probably about 5.9. You know, like I don't want to go as far as 6, but I do in this series. I do tend to overrate lands in general, right? So it's hard to say, but I'd give this like a 5.9. And honestly, I am trying to override my need to rate it higher than that, because I want to rate this like a 6.5, but it's probably not, right? So let's try to be objective, give it a 5.9 or something like that. Where is the Rogue's Passage? It's a secret passageway behind the suspicious bookcase, which is behind the entirely normal armchair in the living room. That's a fantastic piece of chattage. PokePal. That is an incredible piece of chat work. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. It is an untapped land that deals damage to player triggers and can make a Voltron deck one-shot you. I think I know what you're trying to say here. Yeah, it's especially really good in like Battleship and Voltron decks and stuff. So that's a good point. 6. Just 6. Just screw it, 6. Rakdos Carnarium, the Rakdos bounce land. At ETB's tapped, bounce a land to your hand when it comes into play, and it taps for red-black. These I typically will give like a 6.5 to. This does, I think, deserve the 6.5. Bounce lands I've already described in an earlier video in this series why bounce lands are so good. A lot of players think they're garbage, but actually, besides just landfall, the obvious application, there's about 30 more applications for these, and most of them are like edge sort of cases. But between all of those edge cases, even though they're all like 1.5% chance of occurring, at least one of those edge cases will occur, right? There's so many of them. So I love the bounce lands. I'll give it a 6.5. Moving up. Are we moving up to sudden impact? I don't think so. This is 4 mana, 3 and a red for an instant that deals damage equal to the number of cards in a player's hand to that player. Wow, that's... Have I never seen this? It's in 8th edition. It's in 7th edition. It's in Tempest. This is in Tempest? I don't remember ever having seen this art in my life. And like, I played so much. Tempest is like literally one of my favorite sets of all time. I've never seen this in my life. You know, I just watched an episode of Shuffle Up and Play where Charlie, or Penguin Zero, whatever you want to call him, Moist Critical, he had like 30, like we don't even know how many cards he had in his hand. He never counted them. He just had like half of his deck in his hand, and this would have killed him. But that's like extremely edge case, right? So kind of hard to say. This card is probably butts. It is instant. It is an instant, which that's interesting. Right? Because if your opponent draws 50 cards, all of it, like if your opponent draws a Thassa's Oracle, win the game number of cards all of a sudden, right? You just killed them. Man, this card's pretty bad though. Like in most cases, this card is going to be kind of bad. But I guess, you know, you're up against, even back then, like you're up against control. If you can resolve it, that's 7 damage at it, like at the end of their turn. So like they have to counter it. So if they do counter it, that's mana they don't have for your turn. It's like, I don't know. The more I'm talking myself into this probably very bad Magic card. Yeah, it's just Stormseeker. It's literally Stormseeker in red. Which is probably the color it should have been again in like the entire time, right? So yeah, I saw somebody just go card Stormseeker. So in case you've never seen Stormseeker, this is a much, much, much more famous card. Here it is. Let's look at the Legends one. How cool is it, right? 4 mana, 3 and a green. It does damage to an opponent for every card in his or her hand. So literally the exact same card. Instant speed too, which I guess I never knew about Stormseeker. I always assumed this was a sorcery. But yeah, I feel like people like this card because it looks awesome. That's about it. You know, when we were all like 12 years old, we were like, dude, it looks so cool. It's a sword and there's a storm in the background. It's awesome. So I think we all overrated Stormseeker back in the day, but yeah, I mean, I guess I could see this 7ing an opponent or even 8ing a blue opponent. That's not terrible, but I'm still just going to give the card like a 3.1. I honestly, the Stormseeker is not as good as we all remember it being. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very 90s art. Yeah. The Stormseeker, incredibly so. Skimfar Avenger is up next. This is 2 mana, 1 and a black for an Elf Berserker. It's 3/1. Whenever another non-token Elf or Berserker you control dies, you draw a card and you lose a life. So, Elves decks that are black-green, and most of them are. The 2 like best Elves commanders are black-green. Especially the one everyone plays. It's black-green. And obviously good in Berserker decks if you're doing that. This was in Standard not too long ago and didn't really do anything, which always disappointed me. Say that much. If this would have said Warrior, I believe, if instead of Berserker, it would have been just amazing. Nope. I still think the card is good, though. I believe the word another, like, helped to kill this card. Just dead, you know? If it drew a card when it died, it would be, like, 2.5 points better. You know what I mean? It just would. It would automatically replace itself upon death. But even so, you know, this is still a pretty good Magic card. You know? It's pretty good. Yeah, now I know where Stormbreath Dragon got its name. I've never really put that together. But yeah, you're like 100% right. Little Sinwolf. That's, I learned something. But yeah, I'm going to give this card like a 5.2, you know, like pretty high, I think. But just this kind of card draw is wonderful, even if you have to like kind of not necessarily build your deck around it, but put it in the correct deck. This card draw is really, really good. So it gets slightly above average. It's a good Magic card. Moving on though, Errants. Oh no. It's not, it's Wanderlust, isn't it? Yeah, it's Wanderlust. Boy, that's a very bad image of Wanderlust. That's such a terrible image. Wanderlust is 3 mana. It's not a good card. It's 2 and a green for an enchant creature that does a damage to target creature's controller during that player's upkeep. I used to really like this card because I was dumb and didn't really know how to play Magic. It was like right when I first started playing Magic, I was like, well, I kind of like the art. It looks like a cool card, you know, I'll play it. And it's just not good. It isn't, man. So I'm going to give Wanderlust like a 2 and just leave it at that. It probably deserves even less than that, to be honest, but I'm rolling with it too, just for old time's sake. And then finally, Mighty Leap. I think we've already done Mighty Leap, haven't we? I think we've already done it. Runo Stromkirk. Oh no. It's 3 mana. 1 a blue and a black for a 1/4 legendary vampire cleric with flying. When it enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's a creature card with mana value 6 or greater, transform Runo Stromkirk. He becomes Krothus, Lord of the Deep, a 3/5 flyer. Lord of the Deep flies. All right. Whenever Krothus, Lord of the Deep, attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. If that creature is a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, create 2 of them tokens instead, cowboys. Every time I read this card, it looks good. I really do. Like, this can transform on turn 4, like, pretty easily. If you ramp into it, I guess, you know, transform on turn 3. It's pretty good, man. And then, like, this is good. You get a 3/5 flyer for what costs you 3 mana. I think we'd all agree 3/5 flyer for 3 is pretty good. And then, like, no matter what, like, even if you're not playing all these weird creature types, like, you still get to create copies of creatures when you attack. Like, it's pretty good, man. Like, this never really saw play in Standard. People did, like, weird builds around it, but it never really did much. And I don't know if it does anything in other formats, but I really don't think so. I guess the problem here is that you have to play a buttload of 6s, right? Like the chances of actually getting this to pop off the turn after you play it are probably pretty low unless all the cards in your deck are 6-drops, and then you just lose the game because all the cards in your deck are 6-drops. You don't build a deck that way. Silly. What are you doing? So, like, I can't really score this, like, super highly, you know? It's a souped-up Delver. Yeah, like, kind of. Yeah, how can you tell it's flying? It doesn't have wings. It's not flying. I guess it's supposed to be Cthulhu, and like Cthulhu can kind of, I guess that it can fly, right? Traditionally. I think Cthulhu has like little baby wings. So, but it's obviously supposed to be Cthulhu. Yeah, 1 deck at a time. It's the way. I'm looking at what you guys are saying about this card. He's really tall. Yeah, I guess that's reach. That's at least reach. Yeah, let's not go crazy on this one, guys. I'll give Runo like a 4.8 or something. I don't know. He's not, I don't know that he's average. He's just so hard to make pop off that like 4.8 is probably more correct. But like, you know, 3 mana, 1/4 flyer. You know, and you get like a pseudo scry when he comes into play. But he is pretty bad. So that's it. If you're watching on YouTube, that's the end of the video. If you're watching on Twitch right now, don't leave. We're gonna play some Magic. It's the whole reason you actually came is to play some Magic. So I will see you guys after I say bye if you're on Twitch. But if you're on YouTube, it's the end of the video. Bye. All right, we did it. And this part will be in the YouTube video too. Up until I press record will also be in the YouTube video. So bye again. I love you guys.